Çağatay Ulusoy and Hazal Kaya are trending again, and this time the spark came from a single song. Welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars, where we dive into the whispers people can't stop repeating. If you're ready for a roller coaster of emotion, speculation, and a few lines of music that flipped the internet on its head, settle in. The new wave of rumors started with Hazal's late-night Instagram story, a moody track, Nun Sultan's Dirter Beni, and a crop of lyrics that sounded like a confession. Fans read it as a message she might be quietly sending to her former love, Çağatay. Add to that her sudden closeness with producer Onur Guvenadam and the way she looked at cameras at the airport, saying with a small smile that everything was very fresh, and you have the perfect storm for a week no one in showbiz could stop talking about. For days, timelines filled with the same question. Was Hazal reaching back toward a chapter everyone thought was closed with Çağatay, or simply speaking her truth? Because if you've followed Hazal's path, you know this isn't just about a post. It's about the arc of a woman who's tried to balance her work, her heart, and the noise of an industry obsessed with both. That's why the story didn't begin this week. It began months ago, when her relationship with Hakan Sabancı ended just as quietly as it began. The breakup stunned people who thought they had settled into a steady rhythm. Then came the whispers, family pressure, misaligned timelines, and the one rumor that stuck, trust. Journalist Müge Dagestanlı claimed confidence was where the wall cracked, and those words echoed across feeds, turning the breakup into a conversation about promises, doubts, and where Hazal might go next. If there was any night that showed what was really going on, it was her birthday. 32 candles and a question shouted from behind microphones. Is there someone special? Hazal sighed, then admitted something that doesn't fit the perfect image people assign to famous faces. I feel alone right now. Not as a headline, but as a truth. No grand romance to flaunt, no public fairy tale. Just days filled with scripts, sets, and the quiet work of being who she is when the cameras are switched off. The comment climbed to the top of trending topics, played on loop, and everyone tried to read the silence between her words. Did she mean she wasn't open to love? Or that she'd learned not to rush what takes time to grow? Soon after, she slipped away for a reset, renting a small place in London, enrolling in a language school, trading the constant noise of home for rainy mornings and the slow stretch of walking alone in a city that didn't ask for a selfie with every step. It felt like a pivot. Not just toward career growth, but toward a version of herself that could exist beyond the glare. It was there, people say, that the pieces began to shift. Between classes and calls, an unexpected encounter started the rumor mill turning. The first sparks between Hazal and Onur Guvenadam? Believe it or not, they say it started in transit. An airport hallway, a quick hello, then a longer conversation while waiting for baggage that never seems to come fast enough. Strangers noticed. One person took a picture they shouldn't have. And by the time Hazal landed, there were already tweets predicting a new page in her story. When the press asked point blank, she didn't run from it. She kept it soft, careful, almost protective. It's new. Delicate. Be kind. The response did what quiet answers do. It built more questions, more excitement, and more decoding of every move she made afterward. Then there was the music. Dirter Beni isn't just any song. It's a confession wrapped in melody. The lyrics she shared were like notes scribbled on the edge of a heart, hearing something that felt worse than goodbye, the end of pretending, a person who held on while the other loosened their grip. She didn't tag anyone. She didn't add a caption. But sometimes a song is louder than any written line. Fans immediately drew a line from that story to Çağatay, reviving an old, electric chapter between two stars who once felt like fate had placed them on the same mark. And then the internet did what it always does. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok became arenas for theories. Some said Hazal was honoring a feeling that had never fully disappeared. Others insisted it was simply a late-night mood, nothing more. But those who watched them back when the chemistry on set felt too real to be just acting couldn't help but imagine, was this a flare sent into the dark, hoping one person would see it? Or was it only a private moment she accidentally made public by posting it all? Insider talk suggested something simpler. that Hazal's closeness with Onur didn't come from a strategy board but from the rhythm of two people who kept crossing paths. The timing looked tidy only from the outside. Still, entertainment sources quietly floated the idea that if she was going to introduce anything new into her life, she would do it gently, through hints, through music, through a sentence at an airport rather than a red carpet reveal. A soft launch. A way to protect what matters while the world tries to turn it into headlines. Of course, this isn't just about romance. Hazal's calendar says as much. New scripts, commercial deals, long shooting days that stretch into early morning. She's built an engine that runs on discipline. That's why those close to her say she's different now, more deliberate than before. After what she went through with Hakan Sabancı, trust isn't a throwaway word. If she's opening a door, it's because she's checked the lock 3 times and decided it's safe. That caution, people say, is obvious in how she's approaching whatever is starting with Onur. No grand proclamations, no fireworks, just moments stitched together with attention and sincerity. Still, none of that stopped the flooding comments after her song post. Some were blunt, she's speaking to Çağatay. Others were wistful, her new beginning might be Onur, but part of her still looks back. A few praised the choice of track, calling Durdur Beni the perfect mirror for her state of mind. The power of that share wasn't just the words, it was the timing. Right after an airport quote that hinted at a bloom not yet named, right after a season where she admitted her loneliness, right after London, a city that often resets the soul. And what about Çağatay Ulusoy in all this? His silence only fanned the fire. When people don't respond, imagination fills the space. Old interviews were clipped and reposted, frames slowed down to catch a glance, a smile, a half-second that could be read as longing if you wanted it to be. Fans of their past work fed the myth, while others rolled their eyes and asked everyone to let the present be the present. Yet even the skeptics kept watching, which proves the point. When two stars share a history, the echo lingers. Meanwhile, the tabloids wrote their own chapters. Some claimed the meeting with Onur grew from professional conversations into something gentler and more private. Others insisted Hazal has learned to speak in symbols. Images, needle-drop songs, and the kind of public answers that protect the personal truth. In that reading, the airport reply wasn't coy, it was respectful. A way to invite curiosity without sacrificing dignity. Bursan Altunta's reporting on the earlier trust fractures with Hakan Sabancı continued to hang in the air. Whether every detail was accurate or not hardly mattered anymore, the idea shaped perception. Once trust is mentioned, everything afterward is seen through that lens. That's why so many followers are now convinced Hazal's movements are cautious by design, her pace measured, her circle tighter than before. Those same followers cheered when they heard about London, less because of the city, more because it sounded like a person investing in her own growth. And the song? It never left the conversation. Fans quoted lines without tagging her, threading theories under midnight posts, stitching TikToks that interlaced clips of Hazal and Çağatay with the chorus, the beat syncing to the way their eyes once met on screen. Others countered, this isn't a message, it's music. People don't post songs to send letters, they post songs because the melody fits their mood. But even the counterarguments kept the story alive. The result? Days of dialogue where everyone felt like a detective reading clues that might not be clues at all. What happens now is anyone's guess, but the calendar offers hints. There are events on the horizon, brand launches, screenings, the kind of public moments where cameras wander and capture the smallest exchange. Will Hazal and Onur appear in the same frame? Will Çağatay be in the same room? Will a new post push the needle in one direction or the other? The press is watchful, and the fans are relentless. Every detail will be measured, magnified, and folded into the narrative. Still, beneath the noise, a simpler picture emerges, a woman balancing her heart and her work, a man once central to that heart whose name refuses to fade from conversation, and a new presence arriving carefully, like a hand new to the idea of holding. Maybe that's why this story has gripped so many people. It isn't just celebrity glitter, it's recognizable. The uncertainty, the second-guessing, the way a song can say what a voice won't, it's human. So, was Hazal's post a signal to Kagate Yulasoi, or just a late-night soundtrack that felt exactly right in the moment? Is her connection with Onur Guvanatam building into something that can stand the weight of a spotlight, or will it remain a quiet chapter written in small rooms and short walks? Has the lesson from past trust issues turned into a guide for what she allows now? The only honest answer sits with her, behind the images we scroll past and the words we try to decode. As for us here at Secrets Behind the Stars, we'll keep following every beat, every look, every note that makes the public pause and wonder. Turn on your alerts so you don't miss what comes next, because if the last few days have shown us anything, it's that a single song can open a dozen doors. And whether those doors lead back to Kagate, forward to Onur, or inward toward Hazal herself, you'll hear it here first. Until then, tell us what you think. Was Durdur Beni a love letter hidden in plain sight, a farewell wrapped in melody, or nothing more than a beautiful tune that matched the night? Stay close, this story is still being written, one careful step at a time.